First things first, you have to find the center of the yarn. There should be two ends of the yarn. One should be right somewhere on the outside for you to find. Oops. Or not. One should be on the outside somewhere. Point is, you want to get the one from the center. Sometimes a whole chunk will come out though. And that's always the worst. But look, you found the end. And that's what you're going to start with. So, now that you found the end of the yarn, you're going to have the tail on this side. And this is the rest of the yarn, or as you call it, the mama yarn, because it's attached to the rest of it. You want to twist it like this. So there's a little loop with the one attached to the mama yarn on top. And then the little baby yarn, the end of the yarn, on the bottom of that little loop. Then you flip that little loop over on top of the baby yarn. And then you tug on the baby yarn through that loop that you just folded over. And you pull on both ends until it's tightened into a little knot. And here is the end and the mama yarn. And you can pull on it on the baby yarn to tighten the little loop. See? And that's a slip knot. One more time. Okay. You make a little loop with this one on top, this one on bottom. You flip it over on top of the little yarn. And you see that from this one, bring it up from the loop. Hold on to these parts to tighten it. And then you make it smaller with this one. Now once more, but this time you want to make sure this little baby yarn / tail is a little bit longer, not too short, because you're going to use it right now. Okay, so you have saved them there, and there's your loop. Yet again, fold it over, like that. Oops. And you tap on the string. Okay, see? Now you can get your needles. Put it in that loop, and as I said before, you can make the loop smaller with the little baby yarn, so just pull on that so that it fits over the needle nicely. Now with the baby yarn towards you and the mama yarn away from you, you want to insert your fingers like this in between both your thumb and your index finger, and then hold on to from the underneath with the rest of your fingers. So it's like this. You're holding on to it, you have it open because of your thumb and index, and you're holding on to the bottom underneath. And now holding on to this one with the other index finger so it doesn't slip off the needle, you move your thumb back, and you see how there's like a little loop there when you bring your right hand down. There's a little loop now. So from inside that loop, like this, you grab the string on your index finger and pull it back down that loop. And then you let go of the loop on your thumb and pull the strings that your other fingers are holding on down. And now you have 2 stitches here. And that's how you cast on. So you do it again. So your thumb and index finger, hold down the rest with your, then bring down your right foot, and you have a little loop. You go in from the bottom. Here. Hold on to the rest with the other 3 thingies. And you bring your hand down so you can see that loop more clearly. You go inside it, you grab the other one, bring it back down through that loop. Let go of that, pull it down. Now you have 3, and you just keep doing like that. Remember to bring it down, hold on to the rest. Now you have 4, and you keep doing this. Basically, just cast on as many stitches as you can with the tail you made. Now I have 20 stitches, and just in case it's not clear, 20 stitches, each of these little loops, that's a stitch. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You can pull them apart to see it clearly. And here, this is the rest of the baby yarn, the little tail. And you said you wanted to do a scarf, and it doesn't, the amount of stitches you have will be how wide the scarf is. So if you want the scarf to be longer or thinner, it'll vary by the stitches you have. So if you only had like these 5 stitches, that would be the width of it, just this small, like a skinny scarf. Or you could do more and have it be even wider. But now you just finished on your right hand, and you're going to move it over to your left hand, and you're going to grab the other needle, and you're going to insert the other needle into that first loop from the inside, not from this way, from this way, okay, from inside it. Okay, and then you're going to grab the mama string, not the tail or baby string. Here, ignore that one. You're going to grab this one, okay, the one attached to the yarn. And you're going to wrap it over the bottom needle, the one you just inserted into that loop, okay? This one that you just put through. Wrap it over it, like that. And then bring it through that loop you just inserted it through. See, you could hold it if you need. And then you're gonna, now you see, that loop you just put it in through and made this loop from. You want to take that loop off the other needle because you don't need it there anymore. And you want to pull on the string so it's the right size. and that's one knit stitch. Now you're going to do it again to the next one. Insert it from one side, grab the yarn and wrap it over that bottom needle, and then pull that through that loop you just went into. That's another stitch. You need to keep inserting it like that, wrapping it over that bottom needle, and bring it through it, taking that stitch off after, like that. And just continue that for the whole row, for the amount of stitches that you have. And you can hold the yarn in whatever way you feel comfortable. Gosh, that. And once you reach the end of the row, all of the stitches will now be on the other needle, leaving this one empty. So we flip it and we switch them. So now the stitches are on the needle on your left hand and this empty one on your right. And you're just going to do it again. Now you see these little bumps forming? That's the back of the stitch. Okay. So we insert it through that loop we did. Careful not to get into this one. We want it into this one. That's not clear. You see a little loop here, right? Oh, my nails are probably not helping with the color. Okay, put it in through there. Careful to ignore this little bump there. Don't insert it through there. You want it to be in the loop. Okay, and now again, wrap it over the bottom needle. And bring it back down through that loop and take it off that other needle. Then tighten it with the string a little back into the loop. Oh, I messed that one up. Let's look at the camera, not the I have to be careful because sometimes you could split the yarn and or not really grab the whole thing. You see how, yeah, can you see? Okay. Sometimes you might just enter the yarn like this. You don't really grab the whole thing, you kind of split it into the yarn instead of through it. So you have to be careful not to do that. You don't want your yarn splitting. So just be on the lookout for that. I've heard people describe it as stab it. I don't remember. Tie a rope, pull out its guts. Okay, I don't remember. Never mind. Let's just pretend I didn't say that. I'll look for it. Stab it, strangle it, rip out its guts. That's what it was. Stab, strangle, rip out guts. You're just going to keep doing that over and over for practice, just to practice. And it's going to start making these bumps. These bumps and these as well. You can see. Just keep going then. Okay, so you saw the scarf, but technically after you got a little used to the stitch, you don't really have to make it. You can just have it be your little, like, first little ever swatch, or just have a knitted piece. It doesn't have to be something. It could just be a memento for yourself. How did that fall? Okay. So you asked, how do you finish? And now insert as if you're going to do that knit stitch again. Yarn over. And you pretty much are going to do one of those stitches. Oops. And then do one more. So now you have 2 stitches on this needle. And you're going to insert now with your left needle into the first one you did here from this way. So that's how you usually go. This. See? It's not, okay, see? And you're gonna hold on to the string, this one, because you're gonna pull it over that one. So you want to make sure you have a hold on it so it doesn't fall off with it. You're gonna pull it over it like that. See? Now you only have one left. So you're gonna knit another stitch. So there's 2 again. Hold on to this mama string and insert into this one. Pull it over that stitch you just did. So you have 1 again. So you knit another one. Hold on to this. Oops. See? And again. And you see it? The stitches, you just cast it off. And you're going to do that all the way to the end. Knit one. Just so that you have 2 stitches here. I'm tired. Why did I choose to do this at 3 in the morning? Oh yeah, because everyone's loud. Now that you reach the end, there's only one loop left. To finish it off, you just cut the yarn and then you just pull so that the end of the yarn goes through that little loop. I don't want to cut my yarn because I'm using this for something later, but there we go. You just cast it off. Okay, also, just that I should mention, there are different yarns that have different types. This one's just 100% acrylic, and they'll always tell you what's in it. So, where is it? This one's 55% superwash merino, which is wool, and 45% acrylic. So you could always check for that if there's ever something specific that you want it to be. And that's the color, the name of the color for the specific type. Brand varies. This is the lot. So each dye, every time they dye yarn, they'll give it a number, so that way all of the ones that were dyed from all of the ones of this color that were dyed in this specific time have that number. So it could, if it's a different dye lot, it might look a little different, it might not. And then this is what you were wondering. Each yarn has a recommended needle and hook size, so the one it recommends you to use. It's not mandatory though. This one says 5mm, but I was actually using a 4.5mm. But it still worked. The difference in needle size is mostly how it's going to come out. So the bigger the needle size compared to the recommended or the size of the yarn, this, by the way, is the size of the yarn. It tells you there. Sometimes it's a bit off though. The bigger the needle size will mean the bigger the stitches and the looser and stretchier it is, and the smaller the needle size will mean the smaller the stitches, the smaller the gaps, and the somewhat less stretchy. But it's knitted, so regardless, it should still be stretchy to a certain extent. But